Let me tell you something right off the bat, because this isn't the kind of story you hear every day. You ever seen someone in handcuffs for doing absolutely nothing but existing in the wrong skin, in the wrong place, driving the wrong car? That's how it started for Judge Alana Brooks, a woman who spent her whole life climbing out of every box the world tried to stuff her into, only to end up with her face pressed against the hood of her own SUV, wrists burning from the cuffs, while a cop leaned in, voice dripping with contempt, saying, "Don't play smart with me. I don't care how you're dressed. A woman like you doesn't drive a car like this unless it's stolen. Where's the real owner, huh?" That's not just a bad day. That's the kind of humiliation that carves itself into your bones. She tried to show him her judge badge, mind you, or at least her ID, but he cut her off, waving her off like she was some pest. And then, loud enough for the gawking crowd to hear, he sneered, "She says she's a judge, y'all. Can you believe that? A judge flexing in a ride like this." And everybody just watched. Some took out their phones, some giggled, some whispered, but not a single soul stepped up. You know what I mean? Out in broad daylight, in a parking lot full of folks, a black woman, one of the highest legal authorities in the state, gets stripped of every ounce of dignity she's earned. Not by a criminal, not by some fluke, but by the very system she swore to protect. No questions, no pause, just skin color, just handcuffs, just "you don't belong here." Let me back up a sec because context matters. It was a blazing Saturday, the kind of spring afternoon that turns everything gold, and Judge Brooks had just finished speaking at an outreach event for Black law students. She was in her power suit, heels, her signature emerald pin, walking with the quiet confidence that comes from surviving a lifetime of being underestimated. Born in Birmingham, raised by a mother who worked 2 jobs, Alana had clawed her way from a 1-bedroom apartment to the upper echelons of the justice system, always carrying that fire her mama gave her, the fire that kept her from shrinking, even when the world wanted her to disappear. So, you better believe, when she parked her Lexus at Eden Heights Mall, she wasn't trying to make a scene. She just wanted to grab a birthday present for her niece, maybe a coffee, and head home. Instead, 3 cars away, Officer Brent Holloway, a cop whose family tree was full of badges and boys' clubs, had his eye on her from the jump. He didn't know her name, didn't care, just saw a profile: black, female, successful, confident. And to him, that just didn't add up. "Got a call about a stolen vehicle," he said, voice cold. There was no call. He just needed an excuse. Before she could blink, she was up against the car, his hand hovering near his weapon. "Ma'am, step away from the vehicle," she tried to explain. "Officer, I'm a judge. You're making a mistake." That word judge lit a fuse in him. He wasn't about to let her take control of the narrative. He pulled out the cuffs. In a snap, she was shackled, purse and gift bag on the ground, every head in the lot turning to stare. "Car thief dressed like a damn senator," he muttered, radioing for backup. She closed her eyes, but not out of shame, out of pure, burning clarity. She knew exactly what was happening, and she knew it wasn't just about her. That moment, humiliating, public, so painfully predictable, sparked something in her. Not revenge, not even anger, something deeper. She walked back to her car, cuffs digging into her skin, humiliation still fresh, and started plotting. Because she understood, in her bones, that unchecked injustice becomes routine. That silence isn't neutrality, it's permission. And she wasn't about to let the next black woman with keys in her hand pay the same price. See, Officer Holloway thought he'd won. The department tried to smooth things over, even put him on administrative leave paid, of course assuming Alana would let it slide or be too embarrassed to make a fuss. But he didn't realize who he'd messed with. She quietly started making calls to internal affairs, to friends in the Department of Justice. She asked for records, files, everything that had ever gone missing or been swept under the rug. And what she found, this wasn't Brent's first time. Complaints had been filed and buried, victims too scared or powerless to speak up. But now, with a judge's name behind it, their stories were coming out, one after another, cracks forming in the blue wall. You want a twist? When the disciplinary case finally reached the courtroom, guess who was sitting on the bench? That's right. Holloway walked in and saw her hair-rubbed, steady, eyes like ice. He stammered, tried to apologize, but the shame did all the talking. The silence in the room was deafening. Reporters scribbled notes, cameras rolled, and everyone wondered, would she show mercy? Would she crush him? Would she make him feel what she felt on that asphalt under the sun? But Alana didn't go for revenge. Instead, she went for repair. She didn't just fire Brent, she set off a chain reaction. Every complaint he'd buried was re-examined by an independent task force. Mandatory bias and cultural competency training for every cop in the city. Not just a slap on the wrist, but real, transformative accountability. You could feel the air shift in Montgomery. Protesters outside cheered. Former victims came forward, some in tears, some just breathing for the first time in years. But let me tell you, progress has a price. The pushback came: quick threats, smear campaigns, whispers about her overstepping. Politicians wanted her to slow down, to compromise, to make friends instead of enemies. But Alana? She'd been surviving this long not by shrinking, but by standing tall. She told them, "I was born ready." Yeah, that happened. In the weeks after, as her nonprofit, the Justice Reformation Initiative, grew from an idea to a movement, she watched as old friends distanced themselves. Donations came in, but so did the hate mail. Her car got keyed. She started locking her doors a little tighter at night. But she kept going because every time she wanted to quit, someone new would reach out. A mother whose son had been profiled. A whistleblower tired of the silence. Even Officer Harris, the rookie who'd witnessed Brent's crime and, in the end, risked everything to leak the body cam footage, finally stepped forward. His testimony cracked the dam wide open. It wasn't just about Alana anymore. It was about a whole city waking up, about people stepping into the light, about shifting the ground under a system that for too long had been set in stone. They passed new laws, an independent civilian review board, mandatory de-escalation and bias training for every cop in Alabama. Alana was offered TV gigs, book deals, even a run for office. She turned them all down. She wasn't interested in headlines. She was building something they couldn't tear down. And yeah, Brent Holloway faded from the news. He moved to some small town, got a job as a security consultant, started quietly running anti-bias training workshops. Redemption? Maybe not. Responsibility? At last. As for Malik Carter, a kid who'd been framed by another bad Kofi, grew up, became a lawyer, and started his own nonprofit. Brooks and Truth Foundation, he called it. Alana was there on opening day. The kid became the protector, and justice came full circle. So what's the real ending? There isn't one. Not really. Because every time someone like Alana stands up, the system pushes back. Every time a little more truth comes out, more folks want to shove it right back in the dark. But you want to know what sticks with me? That it's not about whether you win every fight. It's about whether you keep showing up, keep telling the truth, keep forcing the world to see you for who you are, not for what it's afraid you might be. So here's my question. What would you have done in Alana's place? What do you do when the system refuses to see you, when it tries to erase your story before you even get to speak? Do you let it bury you, or do you keep rising until it has no choice but to change? If this story made you think even just a little, drop a comment below. Tell us what part stuck with you, what you'd fight for. Because the conversation isn't over, not by a long shot. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, share this story, and join us. Justice isn't just a word. It's a path, and we're all walking it, one step at a time.